Hi, I'm Sydney Lasky. I'm a real estate agent in Maryland. I want to talk to you guys about real estate, about the market, about what's going on. Okay, hold on one sec. Let me get through this little circle. Now we are on my favorite drive, driving around Hunt Valley, Maryland. Doesn't get better than this. I want to keep this short and sweet and answer a question I get all the time. How is the market? This is a very big question. It really depends who you are in this market. I'm going to go over a few of the potential answers to that question right now. So we can deep dive into some of the more niche subjects that I'm going to touch on later on. How is the market? The market is hot right now. It is a very tough, crazy market. Buy side, sell side, obviously very opposite sides of the spectrum here. Both are pretty crazy, and especially if you're doing things right. What right, wrong, what that means? Buyers. Right now, buyers who are looking at what I would call the hot houses that were marketed and prepped correctly. They are in the market opening weekend having 20, 30, 40 showings, receiving 5, 10, 15 offers. Their offers are over list price, waive contingencies, the works. Competitive, and it is fierce. On the flip side of that, buyers who are looking but maybe know they don't want to compete in a market like that, so right off the bat are only looking at houses that may have been sitting for at least a week, 2 weeks, a month or more. That's a very different market. You're typically not competing. They've been on the market a while, sellers are getting a little bit more motivated. Buyers at that point can come in with an offer that has all of the inspections they want. Maybe it's a little bit under list price, has financing and appraisal, maybe has some seller help, closing costs covered, things like that. Those are terms in this current market that you are not going to see on an opening weekend offer. For buyers, if you're looking at brand new houses, and if they're houses that are selling within the first week, you know how competitive things have been. If you're looking at houses that have been sitting over a week or two, you are probably experiencing a better market, a little bit more of what the media is talking about. Talk about the seller side. What are they experiencing? If sellers are doing things correctly, like that one weekend kind of sale that I'm talking about, these are sellers who are taking all of their agent's advice. They are neutralizing, decluttering, staging the house. That means paint, carpet, patching, repairing any items that we tend to forget to do or get behind on. These are the things you're really going to want to bring a contractor in before you hit the market. Caulk, seal, tidy everything up, make everything really nice and presentable to a buyer. So they really feel like, if this is what you're going for, but they really do feel like it's move-in ready and that it's not going to have a bunch of general maintenance that they're going to need to take care of right away when they get in there. Sellers who are preparing for market correctly, who are doing all of these things to be ready, they're experiencing the chaos still. Rates aren't 2% anymore. So it's not as crazy necessarily as it was, but in reality, prices have not come down. So if you really think about it, it is as crazy. Sellers who are prepared correctly and ready to sell with all of their agent's advice, they are experiencing dozens of showings, multiple offers, an offer that typically looks like over list price, no contingencies, no inspections, no financing. Maybe they are getting a loan, but they're waiving the appraisal. They're putting a large deposit down. They're doing everything they can to make this a done deal for the seller. So that way the seller knows, cool, this day at this time, that's when I'm going to get this money, and it's a done deal. I don't know how you can't consider it a hot market when that's what sellers are experiencing and buyers are experiencing all of the competition. There are sellers who aren't doing all the things I just talked about. They're just saying, I want top dollar now as is. Or even worse, maybe they're working with a discount agent, not giving them advice and not helping them with market prep and not taking good photos and videos and getting it properly on the internet. They're not having as fun of a time listing their house, and they're not understanding why neighbor who lists 10% less than them sold in one weekend, but they're not getting any showings or any offers. Seems really obvious. My appointments, I really like to take the comps in and look at the numbers, look at the days on market, look at the pictures. Let's talk about comparable. How comparable are we to the neighborhood? And then making sure that we look good and we price well, so that way when buyers come in, they are excited about us. I just got to my destination though. I really do want to talk about is emotions and excitement and what sellers do to make that experience for buyers and how important it is. Thanks for chatting.